All right, this is Wild Phil with Wild Phil's Osophy. Let's get wild. We are here with Nina Kern.
Hello.
Hey, 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 how's it going?
Oh, it's going.
Happy, what is it, Wednesday?
It is Wednesday. Happy hump day.
Fuck it, hump day?
Yeah.
What is, oh yeah, the hump of the week. Okay.
Yeah. Do you remember the old Geico commercials? Hump day
No, I don't.
with the camel.
No, I don't. I only remember
What?
the lizard. I only
Oh my
remember
god.
the lizard.
Oh no, yeah. Was it Geico? Whatever. You got to look up the hump day commercial.
Okay, but yeah, so we just got back from, we should start off. We just got back from a fucking tour together.
Yeah, Phil and I just went on tour. We there was a group of us, and we went down to Texarkana, which is a city in. Well, it depends on what side of the city you're on.
Texarkana.
Texarkana. Yeah, that's true. It's
No,
Texarkana.
no hard R.
No hard R. That's true. We found that out while we were there. But half the city's in Arkansas and half of the city is in Texas, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long trip. About
Mm-hmm.
It was like what, almost 12 hours. If you didn't make any stops, it would be 12 hours. We definitely made stops, so it was longer than that. But excuse me. Yeah, it was like
It's
a
okay
12
to
hour.
get emotional. Yeah.
I was just, I had a day. I'm sleepy. But yeah, long car ride, but it was definitely worth it. We performed at the 1923 Banana Club, which is a really cool speakeasy venue type of place.
Yeah.
And we had some really good shows, ate some really good food. Shout out to Big Mama's Boys if you are
Yeah.
in the Texarkana area. Make sure you check them out. Some really good soul food. It was probably in the top 5 best meals I've ever eaten.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I have to say the most American shit on that trip was I'd never seen in my entire life when we looked out that window and there was that like football field of cotton.
Sorry.
That was fucking crazy.
I felt uneasy.
Yeah, especially that me and Vox looked at the one black guy in the car like, dude, can you take a picture in there? I almost feel fucked up saying this without Trey here, and then right after we see 2 bald eagles going at it.
That was
In-
crazy.
That's like how an A24 movie starts, like some premonition to like something happening, you know?
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever seen a bald eagle before.
Yeah.
So that was really wild, seeing them in person.
Yeah, I've seen hawks, I've seen ravens, I've seen like an eagle they're like gold and black. I've never seen a fucking bald eagle.
I don't know if I've ever seen an eagle in person before.
Yeah, we saw, I don't know if you guys were sleeping, but me and Vox saw a like vulture pecking at a carcass on the side of the road.
I was asleep.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And that's when I was like, we need to get some steak.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was fun as fuck. I love Texas. Was that your first time in Texas?
No, I actually was in Texas in the spring of 2024. I went to Austin. And
Okay.
so, yeah.
Yeah. What did you do in Austin?
So I work in education, so it was my spring break, and I have a friend down there who's in law school right now. And so I was like, hey, I'm gonna come, like, and she had been wanting me to come visit her, so I went down there to visit her, and then I was like, well, this is the perfect opportunity to like do some comedy while I'm down there, and then like also spend time with her, so that's what I did.
That's cool. How did you like it?
Austin's cool. I personally don't think I would move there, unless like I really like unless I like really needed to. I wouldn't move there. That's just my own personal. It's just like my own personal preference. Nothing. One big thing is just like it's too hot for me. I don't like hot weather. I hate hot weather, and like it was like when I went in March, it was great. It was like 70s, but as soon as it gets over 85, it's game over for me, so I cannot move to Texas. But it was cool. It's definitely a very different comedy scene than it is in Chicago, so that was it was good to see. It's good to see how other scenes operate and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah. I went there 2014 and 2012 for a music festival. It used to be called Austin Psych Fest.
Okay.
And it was It was owned by the singer of this band Black Angels, and it's neo psychedelic. It's guys in the 2000s pretending like they're Austin Powers.
Okay.
They all dress vintage and they try and be 60, and it's cool. I was into that shit before, but and then what was that major hurricane that happened in Texas, like in the 2010? I
Hurricane
forgot.
Katrina.
No, that's
No.
New Orleans.
I don't.
There was some hurricane.
Irene.
Yeah, it might have been that. Yeah, and they like it bankrupt the festival.
Oh,
Because
that sucks.
because it was the only like all this like this niche music of like neo psychedelic like all people from Europe came there, and so there was just like thousands of people who had their tickets canceled and they had to like give back. But what was cool is like even though the hurricane was going on, the band they were like there's people here from Sweden staying at a hotel, and they're like they couldn't keep it on because of code. It wasn't like the hurricane was actively going on.
Yeah, but you can't just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So luckily,
For safety reasons.
yeah. So luckily, a lot of the bands were like, "Does anybody have like a big basement we can play in?" And they still played for the fans for free.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was really fucking.
That's cool of them.
And now it's called Levitation, and it never recovered. So it was never as
like
good
the
as
fire festival.
Yeah. So that's kind of a bummer, but I had my fill of that type of music. It's just you stand in the crowd with your vintage fucking clothes and just sway. I'm done with like going to shows like that. But yeah, it was fun as fuck. Like I was saying, like everybody is so friendly out there.
A lot of people. Yeah, they are friendly out there.
And one thing that shocked me that was like from Chicago to Texas, like depressing as hell.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's like run down.
That's one thing. Like in our drive in Arkansas, it was pretty sad.
Yeah, like literally like an entire, almost what I would picture like St. Charles being taken over by zombies type shit.
Yeah. Like not to shit on the people of Arkansas, but it was just like there were parts of Arkansas when we were driving through it. I was like, did a tornado rip through here? Because of like, it wasn't just like abandoned houses. Like they were like it'd be a house without a roof, or like half of the house is missing.
Well, you'd see an entire strip, like a pawn shop collapsed, and I'm like, dude, if I lived here, all the stuff is still in there. All the old guitars, all the stuff they didn't buy.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it probably has been ransacked a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, Arkansas was a little depressing, not gonna lie.
What was it? 27 churches we saw?
Oh God, we tried to keep count of all the churches we passed on the highway. It was a lot.
Yeah.
I thought it was in the 30s, but and then we like gave up at one point.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I think I got gaslit into liking Buc-ee's because I was like, the whole time in the back of my head, I'm like, what is so amazing about this gas station? But I don't want to fuck over anybody else who's excited.
So, yeah, when we went to Buc-ee's, like, here's the deal. Here's the problem. I had been to the world's largest truck stop already, which is immensely bigger than Buc-ee's.
Where's that at?
In Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in Iowa, and it is enormous. Like, it's just absolutely huge. It's way bigger than Buc-ee's. Like, if you don't know, Buc-ee's is like it's a gas station that sells like so much shit in Texas. It's like, it's cool. Like, it's cool. I'm glad we went just to say that I've been there, but I don't know if I would drive out of my way again to go to Buc-ee's.
Yeah. I will say it was like my favorite part was how much like cool like deer mounted heads they had.
Yeah.
And then they're like chopping up jerky and meat in front of you.
Yeah, that was the other thing that like kind of sucked about that was because like and this is just a me problem. I just have a ton of food allergies and like dietary restrictions. So like I couldn't eat any of the food, and like I do think if I could have gotten the food, I would have had a different feeling about Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Because my one friend was like, "Did you get any food?" And she's like, "I figured you couldn't get any," and I was like, "No, I didn't." And she's like, "That's the best part is their sandwiches."
Yeah.
And I was like, I wanted the fudge,
Mhm.
but I have a peanut allergy. So, like,
Yeah.
and there's so much cross contact with the peanuts in there. Like, I could tell.
Is it just peanuts when you have a peanut allergy?
So it depends on person. It varies person to person. I avoid all nuts, but that's because, like, I used to be able to eat like almonds, pecans, like all kinds of stuff. But then I started like having reactions when I ate them. So I just like don't eat nuts. I just don't eat nuts at all.
Yeah, that's similar. Like I used to like love milk. I don't know why. I know it's weird.
My brother was like that.
Yeah, and soon, like maybe like 25 years old, suddenly.
Lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother used to drink gallons of milk. Like this man would drink like 4 pints of milk
It's
a
those Got Milk
day.
commercials.
Oh my god, I do not like milk like that.
Yeah.
Oh god, no. No, I would no. I would rather drink like jalapeno juice than drink milk. That is like I hate milk.
You know what it is though is it's those like stressed out cows. That's what I found out because
I'm like, this was a stressed cow.
Yeah. No, because like I'll shop at the Polish store and I'll have regular milk there and it's fine because it's like nice rate. Do you know what Wagyu is?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck Wagyu was like that. How like it's this cow that they just feed champagne their entire life. Give it like 3 massages a day, and then and then you get killed.
Yeah.
Seems like a nice life.
It is a nice life. You don't know any pain. You don't know any discomfort.
Yeah.
You are treated like luxury.
I'm such a fucking.
And then you die for a purpose.
I'm such a tree hugging hippie. While we were driving 12, 17 hours, whatever it was, and I'm looking out the window, there were just like moments because it was already gloomy, because it was kind of like raining.
Yeah.
I'm like sitting there and I'm like, I hope nobody looks at my phone because I'm chat GPTing. Why do horses make me feel bad? Like, why do I feel bad for horses? Because I'm just seeing all these animals. Just like there was like a loose fucking cow, just like lost. Limping.
Oh yeah, we did see that little. Oh yeah, that was sad.
So.
Yeah, we saw a lot of cows and horses on the side of the highway.
You know what's crazy is when I was my friends took me to Amsterdam for like a bachelor vacation. You know how in Chicago like the exits are like it's like a turn?
Yes.
I remember in the 90s that's where everybody threw their garbage out of their fucking car. And in Amsterdam there's just flocks of sheep in those exits.
Weird.
They're just chilling there. It's crazy. Yeah.
Wonder why.
Yeah, and there isn't like everybody thinks like the windmills. There's maybe like I drove 4 to 6 hours, maybe saw like 2 antique windmills. They're all replaced by the fucking big ones.
Yeah.
So by the like new wind
Yeah,
power.
yeah, the ones that like collect the energy and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's some you got any wild shit that happened this past? So like did you love the? I think we all performed fucking great there.
Yeah, I felt like
I called Nina the first.
You did. You did. I was like, you
That
gotta
is-
be fucking kidding me.
That's the first thing Vox told me. Don't get this wrong. This is Nina's N word. Like do not call her Nina. And oh my god, I just like I had so much shit on my mind. Oh my god, but regardless, I kind of picked it up again, and
It's okay.
I think we did great.
No, the performances in Arkansas went really well. The first show especially was like, it was electric. It was awesome. The second show, like, it wasn't a bad show, but it's a later show. They don't, really do a whole lot.
They were
that
seated
late.
weird as fuck.
They also were seated very strangely, like spread out, which is not ideal for a comedy show. You kind of want everybody together. And then the other thing was they all weren't really laughers. They
Yeah.
were smilers and nodders.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't see that from the stage because the lights are so bright in your face. So, you're up there and you're like, oh my God, I'm like fighting tooth and nail for these laughs.
Yeah.
But then after the show, everybody was like, oh my God, we loved it. And I was like, okay,
Mm.
you guys just weren't people who laugh out loud, which is
Yeah.
a little frustrating, but sometimes you have shows like that. At the end of the day, I want the audience to absolutely love the show. And so I guess like if I don't get those laughs, it's okay, but it is like frustrating.
Yeah. Like for first experience, like way far out of state. I mean, I've done Iowa and a festival in Iowa. I've done a festival in North Carolina, but this was like friends going on tour. I had a fucking great time.
I have never gone on tour like that before. So like
Yeah.
anytime I've performed out of state, it's because I've been traveling. Well, that's not true. I did this one other time with Chicago comics, Jamie Schreiner and Grace Baylor. We went to Iowa.
Jamie's headlining Zany's.
Yes, she is. They're both very talented comedians in the Chicago scene. But we did some shows at the end of 2022. We went to Iowa. That's why I was in Iowa.
Yeah.
And we went to Joystick Comedy Club and did some shows there. So I guess this is my second experience, but that was a much shorter trip. That was only a 3-hour trip.
Yeah.
But that was a blast too. I had a really good time.
Yeah.
But
To explain to anybody listening, like this place, so I was absolutely like baffled that. So the owner of this place, this guy David, which he looked like a mix of Bill Clinton and RFK Jr.
Yes.
And he sounded like a mix. Well, he sounded more like Bill Clinton, not RFK.
Yeah, he definitely sounded like Bill Clinton.
Yeah, and he was just like, I mean, he looked like an old, like I'm gonna be honest, like
he had an amazing head of hair for an old man.
Yeah, and I was shocked that like the way this place was. So it was like the way I explain it is like if you saw where Wayne lives in Wayne's World 2, like this industrial factory. It was like that kind of building. The first floor I think was like some theater stuff. We were like in the basement in the speakeasy, right?
Yeah, so like the bar that we were in was in a speakeasy, and then on the first floor they had like a photography studio. They had some offices for creatives, and then like a antique store. And then on the second floor they had an event space, which was really, really cool. They had like a lot of 1970s memorabilia and stuff like that, and and an Airbnb which we stayed in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Airbnb was fucking great. Like, the biggest thing I was worried about, like, obviously my sleep. Like, there's so many places that, like, their AC sucks. I needed to be set to, like, 65 to sleep.
Oh, my God. That's really cold.
Yeah, dude.
Poor Trey.
Yeah, that was, but, yeah, no, it was, I was shocked because the speakeasy, the way this guy decorated it, I mean, there was like deer antlers, then there's like license plates, then they had like autographs of like Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and pictures with him. I was like, this looks like this was designed by like one of those like hipsters that rides those bikes that are 12 feet tall, you know? Like I couldn't believe that that David, this old plantation owner looking dude, designed all this.
Not a plantation owner.
Not like this.
Don't do Dave dirty like that.
Yeah. But it was really cool. And the other thing that was cool was that there was like 40 cop and SWAT cars outside.
Yeah, across the street. It was
because across the street was the jail. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, that was the jail. Yeah, that's why I was like when we were driving through, I'm like, there was literally 7 bail bond businesses. I was like, why does everybody need bail here? You know, like it's because the jail's right there.
I somehow missed this.
Yeah. The funny thing was, remember on the second show, where I forgot what I said. I was just like, hey, where all my migrants at? Is that why the SWAT's here? Whatever. And then some guy screamed out, "The fashion police is here for your fucking outfit," you know? And that guy, I talked to him afterwards. He just got out of jail.
Oh my God, hilarious.
So we got along great.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, it was a cool thing. It was a cool experience.
Very cool experience.
So you have any wild shit that happened since then, the past 2 weeks? You want to talk about?
Yeah,
You want to mention?
I mean,
By the way, I really like your cardigan.
oh my God, thank
Like-
you so much. Thank you very much. I like this. I love the cherries. I love the moment that I'm having here. I feel like the crazy shit that's happened has been work related, and it's very boring for anybody who doesn't know about
Vent
my
all
work.
you like. Yeah.
Okay, this I actually don't want to talk about because
You don't want to? Okay, yeah, no, that's cool.
yeah, it's just
Because it's work shit, right?
it's yeah, I don't
It
want
might get you
to
in trouble.
potentially get in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
But crazy shit that's happened this week. I mean, not too much that's happened personally to me. The world is in shambles right now. That's all pretty crazy. And
Yeah.
then also,
Describe how.
I mean, there's a lot of executive orders being made that are stressful.
Yeah.
Very stressful. Yeah, we've got that going on. And then, also, the Chicago comedy scene has really been going through it right now. So
Yeah.
that's also been crazy.
Yeah. It's it's funny because before you get into comedy, when you do, I guess like vulgar comedy like me, you're like on that bandwagon of fucking idiots where you're like, oh, can you say anything? Because no, people like I talked about this before on here. I feel like people who actually get canceled they got a rap sheet that deserve to get canceled.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. I mean, I don't think that anybody really there's usually if you get canceled, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
But there has been a lot of shit going on right
There's
now.
shit going on. People blaming people for assaulting them. Like a lot of assault allegations. We unfortunately have had some dear members of our community pass away. Now there's
R.I.P. Ken Flores.
yes.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever done a show with Ken?
Yeah.
Have you known him well?
So we weren't super good friends or anything like that. We didn't really we never hung out outside of comedy, but we had done several shows together, and
That's awesome.
yeah, Ken was an amazing guy. A really talented comic, but he even though I didn't know him super well, every time I saw him, he was always super friendly and always said hello and was always fun to talk to. And then even after he got big, he still watched all my Instagram stories and stuff. He would like my posts and stuff like that. So although I didn't know him well, he really was a big supporter of the Chicago comedy scene. And I know that even though he didn't know me that well, he still would he still supported me. And then I know I'm not the only person that he did that with. You know what I mean? Once he got big, he did not forget us. And that's a huge statement to who he was as a person. And
yeah, he was a giant Care Bear.
Yeah.
He really was.
He was.
I started out at Jerks at Joe's.
Uh-huh.
And have you done?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it was in Villa Park. It's not a thing anymore, but I was there when he went. It used to be Chris and TJ, Chris Bongat and TJ Round. They used to do a Jack in the Box game before,
Okay.
and then when it got passed on to the new hosts, they used to do a podcast, and Ken was there for the podcast.
Oh, cool.
And I was actually trying to get him on here, but I was like 3 months in. He's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" But he didn't say that. But he was just real nice. He's like he was talking to everybody. I was like, I don't know who this is, but he was, once in a while, somebody like Jim Flanagan would go in there and they would just treat everybody like equals.
Yeah.
You know? That's what was
that
great.
was a big thing about Ken. Even though he got big and was finding and getting a lot of success, he still treated everybody the same, which spoke a lot to his character.
And it's funny, even though he's from Aurora, I had a co-host on here, Carlos. He's going through some stuff, so he's he would usually be here for this, but me and Carlos grew up in hood adjacent, I would say,
Yeah.
And there was a lot of I went to a lot of parties where there were Latin Kings and stuff, and Ken Flores's comedy reminded me of that ball busting at a Latin King party,
Yeah.
And what choked me up, I mean, I might get choked up even saying now, is knowing where you came from, and then when I saw him, like, I didn't even know Ken Flo, but when you saw him, you know that video where Gabe, like Fluffy, takes him on stage in United Center?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that video?
Mm-hmm.
And he starts like tearing up.
Yeah.
That was fucking.
Yeah.
That was tough, because it's like that's a literal rags to it's a fucking miracle story.
Yeah.
You know, you grow up in fucking in the middle of fucking Aurora. Now you're on you're at United Center. Like,
Yeah. Thousands of people are watching you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that wild shit happened, and then here's this shit happening with this this comedian now that's apparently like a huge fucking Nazi, I guess they're saying.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, I actually did not know who this was.
I didn't know either.
I had not heard of her.
I think, you know, from spending 24 hours in a car with me, I'm an opinionated Eastern European man.
Yes, you are.
So, like,
I'm an opinionated Midwestern woman, so it's fine.
what are your thoughts on that whole thing? So
On this comic,
yeah,
I mean,
what Leonardo
Leonardo
Jonas? I don't know.
something. Hold on. I don't want to. I actually want to get her name correct. Wait, who the fuck?
After seeing her clips, I don't even give a fuck about getting it right. Like,
Hold on. I don't. Sorry.
it's all good.
I don't know what this is. What is this? Oh, okay. Sorry. You can cut that out. Here, let me find her
Yeah,
IG.
I'm the editing department, so it'll be all good.
Yeah, Leonardo Joni.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I didn't know who she was.
yeah,
And then I had no idea who she was. I've never seen a clip of hers. Nothing. The first thing I saw was a comic being like, this comedian should not be at one of our clubs.
yeah.
And they posted screenshots of some of the things that she has posted on social media. And they were absolutely horrifically racist and awful. And, you know, that's my first impression of this comic. It seems like she very much does not care what people think and is like very much like, I speak my mind. Which, listen, I get speaking your mind. I get like shock value.
Yeah.
You know, I myself have a lot of shock value in a lot of the things I say. I am horrifically dirty on stage. Like,
Yeah.
I say, you know, I can do clean comedy. It's not what I like to do. I like being absolutely filthy. I love saying super inappropriate.
Because that's you.
Yeah, I love saying super inappropriate stuff, but like this is a totally it's one thing to be sexual, it's another thing to be racist and awful. And so yeah, I'm glad that club canceled her show. I'm glad that the scene has like spoken out and has been like, we are not going to recognize you. You're not welcome here.
Yeah.
I think that's very, very fair. And I'm glad that it's happening. Apparently she has found another venue to perform at. I have no idea what the venue is. I don't know, you know.
Chick-fil-A.
Probably. Yeah, the Chick-fil-A in Wrigley is where
Yeah.
is where she's going to be. No, I don't know where she's going to be. But I think that the reaction to all of this is very warranted from what I have personally seen. And I think that, and I'm really proud of the comics who were aware of her and,
Yeah.
you know, knew that she was a piece of shit, that they spoke up.
Yeah.
Because, like, honestly, I literally had never heard of this person before. Comedy is so oversaturated, and there's so many comics that, like, it's very easy for someone who has like 100,000 followers. I mean, she has like 100 or 150,000 followers, but there's so many comics out there that it's very easy for you to never hear of somebody who has that big of a following.
Yeah.
So I didn't know who she was. I'm glad that her show got canceled. Yeah, it's not something I would be supporting.
Yeah.
I do think that like the mutuals that follow her might want to think about not following her. But, you know,
to
to
be
each
honest,
their own.
Some of the mutuals, I'm like, makes sense to me, you know?
Yeah, I did look at the mutuals, and there were a couple that did not shock me. You know what's hard is that in comedy, we all follow each other. Like,
yeah.
Like, we follow people we think are funny. We follow each other. We don't necessarily know what each other stands for and, like, what,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And so, I haven't watched any of her clips. I truly haven't.
Yeah, I have.
And so, I don't know what she says on there. The titles of them are like, you can tell she's trying to get a reaction out of people.
Yeah,
it's like
they're like
rage
Fox
bait.
News buzzwords.
Yeah, it's
pathetic.
It's basically rage bait. Like the titles of her like clips are rage bait. But it's very easy to follow someone, meet someone who's big, and just follow them. But once you kind of find out some of their beliefs, I think it's not always a bad idea to click that unfollow button.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, there's a few things. Yeah, I already said I'm an opinionated person. I got wild Phil's. All right, I don't talk in third person. I got my own wild philosophy view on that shit. And here's what I'll say. So
well, what do you think?
So first off, here's the first. I think this is the most important thing. I don't like her at all. I don't think she's funny at all. But I will say, what certain people are doing is what's fucking over the left side. And what I mean by that is they're saying like, oh, like they're Nazis or there's Nazis going to the shows. I don't know what a fucking Nazi is anymore. I don't know what
right.
Like like the moment I heard like it's like, yes, her comedy is shit. She's like being very disgraceful to people. It's not even comedy. Keep it at that. Like, just tell people.
I mean, listen. I don't know her personal views. I mean, wait, no. What did I just say? Wait, I think I don't mean what I just said. I don't know her personally. I've seen some tweets.
Yeah.
I know what her views are on certain groups of people.
Yeah.
She's a shitty person.
Yeah.
What I saw. Well, like you said, I think the definition of Nazi has kind of changed a little bit over the past few years. So I think it depends on what your version of Nazi means. If it means someone who's racist, and
I don't. You know what? I'm not debating what Nazi means. I'm more debating like, I like look this like I guess here's the thing. I don't think you need to sprinkle any more spice on somebody that's already a piece of shit. Meaning, like, I tried looking into it, I'm like, if there's Nazis going to these shows, like actual Nazis, why haven't we heard of this? Why hasn't this been on the news? And I can't find that anywhere. Like, there's no, like, I'm not finding that anywhere. I'm not saying, like, I'm just saying, like where is that aspect from it? Now, besides that aspect, she's horrible at comedy. Like the way like the I just went down like a little deep dive at work today while taking a crap, and I was just like, this is a fangirl that went on Kill Tony, was like, hey, Antifa's a bunch of fucking homos and black people. This is our year. Like just like some like something you'd hear at like a welding shop while at lunch. It's like there's no punchline,
right? Well, that's the problem with a lot of. Okay, so I wasn't gonna shit on Austin comedy, but like that's the problem with a lot of Austin comedy is that there is no punchline, and it's just people saying the most horrific shit they can absolutely think of.
Well, that's what I think.
And
is
this is what it sounds like her. I mean, like I said, I have not watched any of the clips. I don't know. I've never, I don't know what she's actually saying, but from what I have heard, there's no actual punchline, and it's all shock value. It's let me say the most horrific shit that comes to my mind and call it comedy, which. I said this while we were on our tour. The problem is there are so many comics who just need to go to therapy, and there's so many comics who they want to have a platform, and but their platform is problematic, and so they disguise it in like this is comedy. But when you break it down, you're like, there is no joke. What you're saying is absolutely just horrible. You want to just go on stage and say horrible shit. You want to give a racist TED Talk. You want to give an anti-Semitic TED Talk. You want to give like a misogynistic TED Talk.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. You can't do that. It's 2025. You can't be out here being racist, homophobic, misogynistic anymore, to a point, unfortunately. But you can't be.
Yeah.
But if you put it under the disguise of comedy, you can.
Yeah.
So that is a problem that we're seeing more and more and more now. That people are just labeling things as comedy when really they're just being horrible.
Yeah.
And I am someone who believes that you can joke about anything. I truly believe that you can joke about absolutely anything, but it A, needs to be funny, and B, you need to do it well.
That's exactly, you know what, sometimes, it's funny because when I used to go to couples therapy with my wife, our therapist was like, we're both Gemini. He's like,
oh my God.
He's like, your wife rarely speaks, but when she speaks, it's profound. But you just like, it takes you like 3 hours to get to a good point. You just fucking.
You have diarrhea of the mouth, Phil.
Yeah, I do. And like, I guess what I was trying to get at is, it fucks over the art of comedy.
Yeah.
Because there is no comedy. There's no punch. It's just like, you know what I mean? It sucks because it like people will see that shit and they're like, oh, you know what? I should try comedy.
Well, and then that's the problem too, right? Because you have the people who unfortunately think like that, see that, and they identify with it, and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to support it. And it's like, well, actually, this is just horrible, and it's not comedy. But unfortunately, then they get a platform, right?
See what I was getting at, that just kind of like, I just had this like goofy thought in my mind when I was talking about the Nazi thing. I was just like laughing because like the people going to these shows are like probably awkward, like Republican dudes who are who like, they're like, I'm as manly as can be. I don't know why I'm not getting any pussy. Finally, somebody who can relate to me. And then I'm just picturing because like it's funny that she tweeted the N-word over Kendrick's halftime show.
She did.
And the thing that made me laugh is like real Nazis in prison are probably like hearing this, these like incel Nazi, and they're just like, bam, bam, bam. They not like us. They're not the real Nazi. They're just dancing to they not like us because we're the real Nazis. Like, this. I don't give a fuck about politics, but this Trump getting elected did give a lot of people who are hateful
a platform.
An ego boost. Yeah.
You definitely emboldened a lot of people. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that's all it is, because I mean I was really glad to see like there's a lot of comics that I like that are problematic. Like there's a lot of people going after Luis Gomez. And do you know Luis Gomez from Legion of Skanks?
If I saw his face, probably.
He's real, like, he does say slurs and shit on stage, but he like, how do I explain this? He's part of this group of friends where he's the dumb bro and everyone's laughing at him at how ignorant he is. He's like, he's the Archie Bunker, you know what I mean? So he knows how stupid he is. So it's like, even him, he's like, this bitch is just like, and then she had that Leonardo, she had Roseanne on her podcast. So she's a Roseanne fangirl.
Okay, that is, that explains everything.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know about this girl, is that she's a fan of Roseanne Barr.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Game over. It's a wrap.
And the thing that made me laugh is I'm like, if this is what you're getting at, if you're a Roseanne fangirl and you just had her on your podcast, this is your peak. Like, it doesn't go further than this, No,
like Roseanne. Oh, God.
This is your peak. Like, what else do you want for like the next step is, here's the problem is she got, I guess, okay, so this is my opinion. She got a huge head from going on Kill Tony. And here's the funny thing. A lot of people went after Tony. I think Tony's funny. I think what he did at the fucking Republican, I think he was funny. He said
I didn't think it was funny.
I just thought he got paid to do a gig and to be vulgar. That's just my opinion. But the point is, when you see her on Kill Tony, even they're kind of like nervously laughing, like, this bitch is like trying to give us a hand job under the table by just being vulgar. You know what I mean? They're almost like laughing like, what the fuck is this? You're like a clean cut Natalie Cuomo trying to, be a Roseanne fangirl. You know what I mean? And what's going to be really funny is this bitch is going to be unstable when she crashes. When everybody
she's unstable now, right?
She's unstable now, but I'm saying like I'm hearing like I'm not gonna name the local comedians that I respect because it'll fuck them over. But there's comedians that we know who are calling up clubs to fuck her over to cancel her tour, and it's like she's gonna kill herself because you could have went somewhere with this, but you're like leaning into this whole like I want to say fuck you to every minority with no punchline. Where do you think that's gonna take you?
It's not gonna take you anywhere good.
Like you're gonna be making ham on rice for Ben Shapiro at Daily Wire. Like that's where you're gonna fucking end up. Like,
yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
So yeah, it's wild, but I don't know. It's I'm saying I'm glad that even comedians that are vulgar are like, you know what? No, this isn't fucking comedy. Like. Comedians stick together.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing. It's not that type shit. So, I don't know any other wild shit. Dude, it's been cold as fuck.
It's been cold as fuck. It's so cold
2
right
degrees
now.
today.
Yeah. And yesterday, I was hoping they would cancel school, but Chicago Public Schools does not give a fuck.
I've been wearing my Texas ski mask every day that I
Have
bought.
you?
Yeah.
It's cold. It's awful.
Yeah, because I went to. I'm like, what the fuck does Nina and Trey, who I'd never met before, and we go to Texas, and the one thing I buy at a flea market is a Texas switchblade and a fucking safety orange ski mask.
I actually did not know you bought the ski mask. I knew about the switchblade.
Yeah.
I was like, you really need that, Phil? And he did. He needed it.
I actually lost all of my knives at concerts because I would always carry a knife on me.
Oh my God, I had that happen to me. So I had like a stalker issue for a while.
Yeah.
And one of my coworkers was like, "Here, you need this," and she like gave me like a shiv to put on my keys.
Yeah.
And so
what is a shiv?
It's like a long sharp stick.
Okay.
Yeah, like it had like hand grips, and it was really pointy at the end. And
is it those things you click and it extends and you beat them with it?
Mine did not extend, but it was like I could stab you with it.
Yeah.
And it would definitely hurt you. And so my coworker at the time, she was like, you need this because like you have a stalker. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. And so I had this shiv for a while. It was on my keys. And then I went to a concert at the United Center and I forgot to take it off my keys.
Yeah.
And I didn't drive. And so I go through security and they were like, you can't have this.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. I can't. So I lost it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I used to have like 10 knives just because it's a long ass fucking story, but I used to hang out with like non-racist skinheads, and one time I went to like the wrong party where there was racists and they mugged me, and there was like 8 of them. They kicked me to shit. And I fought each one off individually, and then I ate shit down the apartment stairs, and they
Phil.
Yeah, it fucking, because they had those like 70s apartments where they had like the old shag on the stairs.
Yeah.
So after I basically I was at this fucking party, and my friend took me. He's like, yo, you got to go to this party, these guys are gonna fucking love you. And I was like, what the fuck is this party? And then I'm like, why did you take us here?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, dude, let's just get free beer and get the fuck out of here. And one of the guys went up to me and he said, like, what are you doing here, you fucking homo? And I punched him in the face. So then his friend went after me. So I broke a beer bottle over his head. Then I started running. I clotheslined another guy. And that's when I slid down the fucking stairs, and they steel toe boots like to the face, like everything. And
that's what happened to your face.
That's what happened to my
Damn.
That would be my excuse. but yeah, I like I don't know where I was going with that, but I completely blanked out. I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't remember either. I think we both have a little bit of ADHD.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going. You were going with that either, but it was a good story.
Awesome.
I've never gotten into a big fight like that.
Yeah.
I'm a little bitch, so I don't
Oh,
fight people.
oh, that's why I started carrying knives.
Oh,
Because I got fucking mugged by a mob.
yeah, that's
So-
fair. That's very fair.
And I didn't know, like, I listen to a lot of different bands that you don't know who's gonna be there.
Yeah.
You don't know who's a fan of this type of music. You
Yeah.
know. And so it's so funny. Do you know the band Whitney?
No.
They're a Chicago band, and they're really chill, like yacht rock,
Okay.
like almost like Steely Dan, like
Yeah.
But they're modern, and like the singer, he sounds like the Bee Gees. Like he purposely sings like this.
That's not my vibe.
I know.
That is so not my vibe.
But I went to this show with my wife, and they're just like, they were terrified. They're like, "Why do you have a knife on you?" I'm like, "Bro, I know I'm not gonna stab anybody at this show. This is like for protect." So that was my last knife that got taken away at
Damn.
a Whitney show, but
At a yacht rock show of all places. Holy shit.
yeah.
Oh my God. I remember when I was in 8th grade, we went on the trip to Washington, D.C., right? And you obviously can't bring any weapons into the government buildings.
Yeah.
And my friend's dad was like, "Oh shit, I forgot I had a pocket knife." And then there was something else that I couldn't bring in there. So me and her dad were like, I think it was food or something. I had food that I wasn't allowed to take in there. And so her dad and I were like hiding our shit in the bushes.
Yeah.
In Washington, D.C. And then, because we weren't allowed to bring it into the government buildings. And then we went back and my food was still there and so was his knife.
Yeah. No, that's happened to me before where like I'd go to like Metro and they'd be like, "Yo, dude, we get it. Every guy carries a knife. Just like hide it behind a dumpster or put it in a tree, and get it after the show. Because I have to throw it in this garbage now or you got to hide it and then you can go back in line." And so, yeah, but
Yeah.
you can't carry knives. But
Can't carry knives.
yeah, I used to be way worse though when I had like a really dick boss. I was going to school to be a security guard. So like for training, they like had us buy a can of like a little like pepper spray,
Yeah.
And man, I had some asshole. I'm talking about bosses that would just like drop the N-bomb on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like my last day, it would be like winter. I would just spray pepper spray on their car door handle, so it would freeze.
Phil!
So it would freeze. So I just made their whole ride home was just. It was.
Is that feels like you could get in trouble for that?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I slept like a baby that last day of work.
You have to make sure you're like upwind when you're doing that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. So you don't pepper spray yourself.
I actually accidentally did that to myself. Not with the pepper spray. One day I was cooking. So like, I was trying to cook. Because I worked in a lot of factories. I was a welder. And all factories are Polish and Mexican guys.
Uh-huh.
So I asked this Mexican guy, I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck do you put on your steak in your taco that's like makes it that well?" And it's literally Goya seasoning. You know what Goya is?
Yeah.
I didn't know what the fuck that was. So he told me Goya, and he's like, "And yeah, but you got to heat up the oil slowly, and then you can put like cayenne pepper in there." I left the pan on, and then I threw the cayenne pepper in there, and it was literally just a cloud. And all my cats were like all like this. Like they look like I was stung by a bunch of bees, just
Aw.
eyes shut.
That's so funny. One time I was working at a restaurant and we had this dressing. It was like a jalapeno vinaigrette and I was filling it and I when I was pouring it, it splashed and it went into my eye.
Oh shit.
That burned so fucking bad. My eye turned red and swelled up. It was not the vibe.
Dude, I should be blind. Like, do you have any other fucking eye injury stories?
Eye injury, not that I can remember.
Not that bad. Okay.
Not that like nothing that should have blinded me. Yeah, no, not like I've definitely gotten shit in my eye before though, like a lot of times, and then I have
actual shit.
Yeah, I just like what?
Actual poop.
Yeah, absolutely. You've never gotten poop in your eye? You're not doing the right activities, Phil.
Oh man, would you get like those gas station bums that diarrhea all over the wall?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. And I was like, is this chocolate or diarrhea? And then I
Yeah.
touched my eye and I was like, oh, nope, totally diarrhea, not chocolate.
I'm out of brown foundation, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I was
yeah.
like, my bronzer? Let me just use poop. No.
Yeah.
Disgusting. So I work in an elementary school. My nails are brown right now. And one of the 6th graders told me that my nails look like Dookie. She was like, Miss K, your nails look like...
Did they actually say Dookie?
Yes. She goes, Miss K, your nails look like Dookie. And I was like, thank you so much. That's exactly what I asked for. I actually went into the salon and I said, please make my nails look like shiny poop.
Yeah.
And then they did. And she was like, are you serious? I was like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm 100% serious because I want you to not feel good about hurting my feelings.
Kids are fucking...
Awful.
They'll roast you. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yesterday I walked into this classroom and this kid was like, Miss K, you look different. And I was like, well, I shouldn't because I did nothing different to myself.
Yeah.
Like literally I don't wear makeup at work. Like, nothing's different. I didn't straighten my hair. I didn't, I look the same. I was like, that's crazy because I didn't do anything different. And he's like, you look older. And I was like, fuck off, dude.
That's hilarious.
Fuck off.
That is hilarious.
I was like, you don't have to tell people everything you think.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I do. I do have to tell them everything I think.
I had an old lady roasting me at that Texarkana show.
Oh, probably.
She was laughing that I had graphics in hairs that are white, and she thought that I was old, like as old as her, because she was 47. I'm like, no, I'm 37, and she's like, no way, you're old, you're younger than me. Oh my, I'm doing something wrong with my life, and I was just like, oh well, I'm glad that my drapes match your carpet, because and she. And yeah, she stopped talking to me after that. But I should be blind because the two scariest shit that happened with my eyes. So one of the factories I worked at, forklifts are either electric or they're powered by like propane. Mm-hmm. And they told me, they're like, you got to change the propane tank on the forklift. And I didn't know that. So I mean, I should have known this. Like, have you changed a propane tank on a grill?
No.
So
I don't do hard labor, Phil.
Yeah. So there's like so the propane doesn't leak. There's like a in the gas line it shuts off. There's like a tube.
Yeah.
So I completely didn't realize. I was like I'm taking the tank off, and then I look in the tube and there's like a screw in there, and I was like, what the fuck is that? So I pressed it, and there was compressed propane in the line.
And it went in your eye.
It went in my eye, and it froze my eye for like 10 seconds. It like froze because it was like ice cold.
Oh my God.
And I mean, for like 3 days, everything was blurry because one eye was completely blurry and the other one was okay, but it went back to normal.
You didn't wash it out?
No, I tried washing it out.
You didn't go to the hospital?
No, they have those stations that they squirt you in factories. That's all I did. I was like,
you probably were fine after like 15 minutes, but that's still terrifying.
Yeah.
One time my dad got a wood chip stuck in his eye, and that was scary.
A wood chip, or was it like a splinter?
No, well, I think it was like a small chip of wood because he was like chopping wood.
Oh yeah.
And a piece went into his eye, and then it was a big deal when I was 7. We had to go to the emergency room.
Oh shit.
Or like the urgent care thing, and then like my dad hates my mom's driving. He hates my mom's driving, and so like my mom is driving us all to the urgent care or wherever we were going, and my dad's like, I drive better than you with one eye.
Yeah.
And then like it was a whole thing, and then whatever they put in his eye to like flush it out, and like whatever medicine they put in it turned his iris lime green.
Oh,
it
was it glow in the dark?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was so young that I don't remember.
Okay.
But I remember his eye being lime green, and it was one of the craziest things I had ever seen.
That's funny.
I was like, my brother and I were like, what the fuck? Well, we didn't say what the fuck because we were kids, but you know what I mean, that was how we felt.
Yeah. No, the number one scariest eye injury I had. like during lockdown, I was rebuilding, or not lockdown. I was just like laid off, so I offered. Dude, my brother is the polar opposite of me. He's just like Seth Rogen in Superbad. He's just like a chubby gamer nerd, you know. So he's got a. I have a townhouse. He has a house, and I'm like, dude, I feel bad for you with how fucking awful this porch is, because like his overweight friend came over and he fell through. Because it's rotting. It's rotting.
Yeah, you need to. If your friends are falling through the porch, it's time to fix the porch.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you're lucky. Luckily, it was only like 2 feet. But I'm like, dude, like, don't you feel bad for your fat friend?
He's like, no, you should have laid off the Twinkies.
Yeah. So because whoever made the porch, they didn't stain it. They just put like Home Depot wood, and then it just started rotting.
Stain it.
Started rotting right away. So I'm rebuilding this whole porch. And on their porch, there's all these weeds, so I had to like use a weed whacker. My brother doesn't know shit about labor, so I go, "Oh, you got a weed whacker, right?" Of course, he bought the cheapest fucking Temu electric weed whacker.
He went to the Dollar General and got a weed whacker.
Yeah, and he didn't like load the string in there, right? Because you're supposed to like load it in there.
Oh, Phil, I don't know. This story's gonna be bad.
Then lock it. And the moment I literally pressed it once, facing on the ground, and it ejected, and it broke off on the part that's safe, that's protects your feet. It broke off, sliced me right in the pupil.
Oh my god!
Like right on the black of your eye.
Yeah.
And dude, I was crying in the hospital. I was crying. I'm fucking calling. Like,
oh my god, I'm like coughing. I hate eye injuries.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have blood.
There was no blood. I just like I literally couldn't see. And the thing that sucked is I rode there on my motorcycle, so I couldn't get home. I'm not gonna fucking with one eye.
Oh my god, you know? Phil, this is terrible.
So I go to an urgent care. These motherfuckers.
And the urgent care is like, go to the ER. What the fuck?
The urgent care told me I was gonna lose my eye.
Yeah, because you went to the urgent care.
They put this shit in my eye where they put this liquid that you put a black light over it, and then it shows where the incision is. So,
okay.
So like my whole eye was like glow in the dark, and then it shows like where the cut is. And they're like, yeah, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're probably going to lose your eye. You're probably going to lose your vision. And I'm like calling my wife up. I'm like, I'm going to be a fucking pirate. I'm going to I'm going to be the eye patch comedian. You're
like, babe, your Johnny Depp Jack Sparrow fantasy is about to come true.
So I and then I went to the ER. They're just like, dude. So you know why they told me I was going to lose? This is what's bullshit. I wasn't going to lose my eye because of the incision. When they poured the liquid, there was bubbles in the liquid. So they go, yeah, we found a few, like, you see those dots on your eye? I go, yeah, why? They go, we think those are like cysts, so you were going to lose your eye anyway because you have cancer growing in your eye. I go to the fucking ER. They're like, those are air bubbles from the liquid they used.
Oh, my God.
You jackass. Oh, my God.
Idiots.
Hey, we were talking about eye injuries. Is there anything else wild you want to talk about before we get an interview? I don't know anything else wild.
I don't think I mean, not that's happened recently or that would make any sense for me to talk about right now. Yeah.
No, I had a stressful fucking day at work because I took off all this time for this tour, you know?
Yeah.
Before the tour, I had RSV, and now I got
oh my God.
2 days into coming back, I had I was sleep deprived. So
my God, I'm not kidding. I'm like, sorry, not to go off on tangent, but when I contracted COVID back in 2023, I ended up having a lot of long haul COVID issues.
Yeah.
And so that I've been dealing with that for the last 2 years, and I'm a lot better. I'm almost back. I'm probably like 80% back to normal. 85%. But I definitely regress when I don't sleep enough. And I thought that I know that's really crazy to go down on a Friday, do shows Saturday, come back Sunday when it is a 12-hour drive. But I was like, I'm just going to be chilling in the car. I'm going to be relaxing.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be that big of a deal. And then that whole next week, I was not able to get more than 6 hours of sleep every night.
Yeah.
And I have been fucked up
Yeah.
ever since.
That
and
circadian rhythm. It's
yeah,
all fucked up.
And so that's part of the reason why I was like, I want to leave before 8 o'clock tonight, because I was like, I need to go home. Like, I need to be in bed by 10:30.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I need to try to be sleeping before 11, because I'm just like all jacked up.
I was gonna ask real quick. Do you care if we go to like 8:20? Is that too much? If it's fine. Whatever.
If that's what ends up happening, that's
Okay.
what ends up happening.
Okay.
But I would prefer to like leave
Yeah.
earlier. But if you don't get the interview portion done before then, that's fine.
Because I do need to just put this on the fucking table. Like, I am a nightmare because of my sleep. Like, I just want to get this out there so I don't ever have to fucking explain it again. Or you know what I mean?
Let the record show.
Okay, because it sucks. Like, people don't like sleep epilepsy. It's called like, so it used to be called SHE, SHE, but it's called like ADSNFL. It's like frontal lobe epilepsy. Like, I got it when I was 16 years old.
How did that happen?
It's a long story, but basically, like, I think I mentioned it in the car a little bit, how like you have to, if you have epilepsy in your genetics, you need something that'll trigger that event. So, for example, like, some people will get epilepsy because they're super dehydrated. Obviously, there's the comedy joke of like strobe lights.
Yeah.
But everybody has a different trigger. It could be heat. It could literally be anxiety. There's people who got their amygdala taken out of their brain because their anxiety triggers their seizures.
Interesting.
For me, I think I told you, I have a whole video on it about how I triggered it because I drank a gallon of vodka amongst two friends, went to see Slayer and Hatebreed, rattled my brain in the mosh pit, so I was super drunk, super sleep deprived, and the next morning, my friend called, like, I started seizing. My friend called 911. The cops Rodney King'd my ass. Remember me telling you?
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of me because they thought I was ODing, and I guess I was like fighting back. And ever since then, like, I haven't, as of now, I had, like, I'm 37. I hadn't have a seizure in 12 years. So I don't know what the fucking math is. What is that?
29?
20.
Oh, no, 12 years?
Yeah.
25?
Yeah. 25 was probably the last time I had a seizure. But my meds, like, okay, you already know how you feel like shit when you don't get sleep. For me, it's like 20 times more. Because the electricity in my brain is firing, so it's like trying to fight off a seizure. So, like, even the next day, when I didn't get sleep that night because I was fucking throwing up, Trey was like, dude, why the fuck are you, like? I didn't even realize my leg was like shaking, because I'll get tremors. Like, I'll just, like, it's fine. I'll get I'll be shaky that whole day, and it'll take me like 3 days to like not have anxiety and not have mood swings and shit. But dude, this is why I need to get 8 hours sleep. Like, because like I've had, like, it sucks to explain. I'm explaining it on here because, like, especially when I first started comedy, like, I'd have so many people like, dude, why don't you stay for the hang? Why don't you fucking hang out after the mic? And I would sometimes, because luckily I was laid off, so I would just sleep in. I can't do that shit anymore. Like, I got a full-time job.
I understand that, because, like, I also can't stay for the hang at this point. Like, I have to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I unfortunately have a full-time job.
Like,
so.
And here's what sucks is, like, there was a point in time. Here's what sucks is, like, having the condition that I got, I can't even qualify for disability, because they go, your epilepsy is controlled. Oh, so you're fine. Well, if like for example, welders, that's why I stopped welding. Every fucking welder starts at like 5 a.m. I'm like, dude, I'm done doing these jobs. Especially trying to be a comedian.
Yeah, no.
You can't fucking do that, you know?
No.
And you can't find a job that'll be like, yeah, dude, just come in for double time, whatever, you know? You can't fucking do that.
No.
Like, I am an absolute, like, right now, this is kind of sad but funny at the same time. My wife and I are going to try and start having a kid in September, because that's Gemini breeding season. I'm not even joking. And I'm literally gonna set up a bed here because we're gonna switch off like when the kid wakes us up because I am an absolute monster when I'm sleep deprived. So that's why I gotta like that's why like if I ever plan a tour or anything, like I'm like I've told like I was trying to do this with my other buddies in comedy, and I was like, dude, like don't take it the wrong way. I need my own hotel room because I'm gonna need to get that sleep, you know, like, but it's whatever. It is. You know, people make accommodations. You don't have to fucking. This isn't the '80s where you're doing rails off a toilet seat. You know, like in our fucking 30s. You know what I mean?
Right.
Late 30s. So that's just.
You're in your late 30s. Speak for yourself.
Yeah. I never even asked how old.
I'm
are you?
32.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, that's. I don't know any other wild shit like. So I don't know what the fuck I was going at, but So how long have you been doing comedy for?
I started being consistent with comedy in the fall of 2019. So it's been a little over 5 years now.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, I started unfortunately right before the pandemic hit.
Right before?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
fuck.
2019, yeah. And then
Did you do any Zoom mics?
Oh yeah, I did so many Zoom mics and so many Zoom shows. I actually think that's what helped me get to where I propelled me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't used to doing comedy. This was something that was new for me.
Yeah.
And so, like, were Zoom mics ideal? Were Zoom shows ideal? Absolutely not. However, I did not. Before the pandemic, I had only done open mics. I had never done a real show before.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know any different. So when a lot of comics were not being active on Zoom, I had a little bit of an advantage coming out of lockdown because people were like, oh, well, this girl's been active. This girl's been like grinding, whatever. And so I was able to get booked on stuff because I was out here on Zoom. So
Did you start right away in the city scene?
yes. Yeah.
What was your like first mic in the city? Do you remember?
So what's funny enough,
or like your home mic that you always like that was your place.
when I started going to mics, because actually the first time I did comedy was at like a fundraising event. So then when I started doing mics, I would go to there was a My Buddies mic that was women only. And I was hitting that up a lot. That was like my mic.
Who was it run by?
It was ran by a couple different people, but at the time it was being run by Be Positive Productions, and Dario Durham ran that.
Okay.
He has kind of shifted his focus since then. He has a pretty popular podcast, so he doesn't really. I don't see him as active doing stand up anymore, but
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah. Do you remember any of your old jokes? Like, do you ever look at that stuff?
I don't have a ton of recordings. I remember some of my jokes. Yeah. Honestly, some of them I still do.
So, well, that's good because some of them grew, right?
Yeah, they absolutely grew. And sometimes, honestly, lately I've been feeling like my old jokes were stronger than my new jokes. So sometimes I fall back on those or like pull them out when I'm like, okay, I know these work for sure.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that because when I first started, like I mentioned to other people, like I kind of started in like I wanted to be in the roast scene, just because like I don't know, you know, throughout my life I kind of just throw myself to the wolves because then I can be like, all right, well this is the worst of it, you know. So I was like, I'll do a fucking roast battle because this will destroy me the most, and then I'll like kill my fear or whatever, you know, and I realized that like I took a class at Lincoln Lodge, my first class with Chris Higgins. Those jokes that I did on that first one, set up, punch. They were way tighter than the way shit I write now. And I really got to get back to that.
Yeah.
Because I just been trying to riff more now. And I don't know if that's, I don't know. I don't know. Like, is it like some people, my phone is going off. Some people like, I don't know how to say it. Like I didn't like the punch setup thing because it didn't seem authentic to me.
I mean, I think it just depends on your style, right? Like I'm definitely not like a setup punch type of gal.
Yeah.
That's just not my style, really. I'm more of a storyteller with jokes
Same.
in it.
Yeah.
And that's just set up punch is just really not my vibe, but it works for a lot of people, and it
Yeah. Yeah. Did you do you have any like when you started off, did you have like a top 3 then that you start off, like a top 3 comics that you liked?
I hate this question. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay,
Like
that's
when
fine.
no, it's okay. It's just people always go like, "Who are your favorite comics? Who are your favorite comics? Who are your favorite comics?" And it's just like, why does it fucking matter? No, but I love a lot of women comics. Michelle Wolf is somebody that I wish I cannot wait for the day that I am that tight and that good and that fucking funny. I hope to be that funny one day.
Yeah.
I love Michelle Berteau. I also love Nikki Glazer. But
Mm,
those are some of my favorites.
cool.
There was never a single, I guess, stand up wise, there was never a single person that made me be like, that's, who I want to be like, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. I actually, growing up, I watched a lot of I Love Lucy. I loved Lucille Ball. I was already like a naturally funny kid, and I loved making people laugh. And then I would watch I Love Lucy, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to make people laugh.
Yeah.
At the time when I was a kid, I didn't. For a long time, it didn't feel like stand up to me, that was going to be the route. I was an actor before I was doing comedy, because of like some of the health stuff that's been happening to me the last couple years. I've kind of taken a step back from acting. I'm hoping to get back into that this year.
Did you do anything that like we'd know or that
I
you...
did a couple commercials, but nothing like big, nothing super notable, but I definitely got my toes wet.
Yeah.
The year that I was like, I'm really going to try for an agent was when I got sick. And then I did like a small project that year that I
Yeah.
got sick, and I was so unwell on set. Luckily, like I told this story to somebody who was on set with me that day, and they're like, well, we didn't know. And I was like, well, good. I'm glad you didn't know. But
Yeah.
I was unwell. And
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, well, I can't submit to agencies because like I can't follow through on the job. Like I'm so miserable. But that was before I learned how to
Like
manage
miserable because of the health issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
What were they, if you don't mind? Me asking?
I was dealing with like extreme fatigue and like
Oh, the long COVID.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like I was having a lot of memory issues. And then it was like honestly, like a lot of it, I'm so glad that I've healed because a lot of it was truthfully really scary.
Yeah.
Like I was legitimately having memory issues. Like I'd be at work serving, and if I didn't ring something in for that table, I would forget they were there. Like
Yeah.
would like legitimately forget they were there until I turned around. I was having like auditory issues. Like someone would say something to me and it would literally just like sound like gobbledygook. Like I would have no idea. Like it wouldn't even be like I just would have absolutely no idea what someone just said to me.
Yeah.
They'd be talking to me and it would just sound like gibberish. And that wasn't happening as much on set, but it was just like I couldn't keep my focus. The fatigue was just like, have you ever had mono?
No.
It was a lot like mono where you're just like so like like your bones hurt. Like my joints would hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I just would be like I just had no energy, and then
That's how COVID felt for me. When I had COVID, like
yeah.
like it drove me nuts because like each time it seems like every time that before I get sick, I'm like about to commit to like some exercise plan, and then it's like, dude, why did I work out for like 4 fucking hours to the brim this day? But then, now I'm sick and it feels like I worked out 4 fucking hours,
Yeah. And then the other thing that was really scary was like I was having problems with my vision. Like,
oh, wow.
Like I was like my peripheral was fucked up. I had a lot of like black shadow, like black floating. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic, but
Sorry.
I had a lot of like black floating shadows.
Yeah.
That was like probably in vitamin A deficiency.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, luckily a lot of that is healed.
Shit,
I'm a
sorry
lot better.
you went through that.
Yeah, it was rough.
Is that all under wraps, or are you still?
I still deal with some of it. But it's a lot better. Like the auditory issues are almost gone. Or they basically are gone. The black floating shadows and like my peripheral has gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
I still periodically deal with the fatigue.
Yeah.
And then like I was also having like heart palpitations and stuff.
Yeah.
I was on a medication to help control those. That I've been feeling a lot better. So actually today, this is cool. I was at the cardiologist before I came here, and I got cleared to wean myself off my medicine.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah. So I'm gonna try that because unfortunately the medicine caused a lot of weight gain. So I kind of want to get that under control.
Yeah.
So
You know that's why so I should mention this, how fucking wild this is. So like I was telling you, like I had a little bit of side effects that I've been taking the Zepbound, right?
Yeah.
The biggest side effect I had was like heartburn the day of injection. That's it. And you know what fucking happened? So like what Zepbound and Ozempic does is it constipates you, right?
yeah.
So I was like sick because I was sleep deprived on the show that we did, right?
Yeah.
Then we come back. I go to visit my brother because he was having some issues, and I caught neurovirus from him,
Right.
which I guess is just like a scarier name for stomach flu.
Yes.
But what sucks about that is right when I got it, do you know what happens with neurovirus? You're just peeing out of every hole.
Yeah, literally.
You're fucking like I didn't realize that I had it until the next day I went to
So
work.
you were shitting and puking at the same time?
I'm like I've done some gross shit, and I've never thrown up without like putting my like fingers down my throat. I drive a box truck at work sometimes. I ran from my fucking truck and just hurled at work. And they're like, dude, what's going on? We never seen you do that before. I'm like, I know I got the neurovirus. I can feel I got the neurovirus. And literally before that, I had like I diarrheaed like 5 times. And
Go
it's
home.
and it's
Time to go home from work.
it scared the shit out of me because like already being on Zepbound, like you can't eat a lot because you're gonna feel bloated and you're gonna feel full. So I already have I have this supplement that I drink. It's like an electrolyte supplement, but it has creatine, so it
Okay.
helps for lifting and stuff. So I just drink like this jacked up water basically, and I like had to have like 4 more of those because of how much liquid got out of
Yeah,
me.
you were sick.
And then comes my injection day.
Oh my god.
So suddenly I'm like peeing out of every end, and now it can't escape. And you know what fucking happened? I still don't know what's wrong with me, but like since that, like I'll bend over and there's like a fist area in my stomach that hurts like crazy.
Have you gone to the doctor?
I haven't gone because it's
I think you should go to the doctor, Phil.
it's slowly going away. That's why I'm happy. But I literally I didn't know what it like first. So the first thing I thought it was I heard that you get like intestinal strain. So I thought it was like all backed up and
Yeah.
it was like expanding too much, you know? And then I thought I had a hernia because I do CrossFit. And the thing that freaked me out was when you do Zepbound, they tell that for the area that you inject, like it's supposed to heal. So it's like I did like the fat on my left leg 1 week, then the next week I did a fat. And then 1 week I'm just like, you know what? Why not just do it in my belly? And I thought I might have punctured that wall, like my abdominal wall. And I think that's what it was. I think I infected that wall because I never rub it down with the alcohol or whatever. So
Phil.
I know, like I get myself into this shit, but I think I'll be okay. I think
All
I'll.
right. I hope
But
you
it
are.
but it was a fucking. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off your long, but no, that long COVID, like my I guess you would call him my uncle-in-law. I've been with my wife for 10 years now. At year like 6, like at year like 3, I met my uncle-in-law, like because we met the family, whatever. They were like that side of the family, the uncle, the aunt, my wife's uncle and aunt. They were like the nuclear family, the perfect fucking, I don't know what to call it, like the Brady Bunch, you know. He went through a fucking divorce because
man.
the way the long COVID affected his wife. I mean, she lays in bed all day and she's just like, she's like Courtney Love, just like like just it was
It can be really debilitating.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it just like dissolved. I had a guy that I worked at a factory that he still 2 years later hasn't gotten his taste back. So like
Crazy.
at lunch we would like buy him fucked up shit. We'd be like, "Hey, have this gas station sandwich or have this fucking flea market like Istanbul Pakistani And he's like, it literally all the Pakistani sandwich, the gas station sandwich, McDonald's, it all tastes like battery acid to him.
Oh my God.
Like, can you imagine that? Like,
No.
you can't enjoy food anymore.
I will say that, like, I'm so fortunate. I've had COVID 4 times, and I have never lost my sense of taste. Thank God, with any of them.
The scariest thing, I lost my sense of smell. Did you have that? Mm-mm. Yeah, that shit was.
I thought at one point I had lost my sense of taste, and so then I poured myself a shot of vodka to see it, because I was like, if I can't taste the vodka, then I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And I did a shot, and I could taste it, and I was like, okay, I'm okay.
Yeah, I actually found out a pretty funny way. I like, do you know where Harlem and Irving is in Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
You know where that Rolling Stones Records is?
No.
So there's a record shop that was my old neighborhood, and there was a head shop called Beyond the Limit, and I used to go there like before internet. That's where every rebellious kid went because they had fucking bongs and hemp blankets and shit. And they were closing down for good, so everything was literally 90% off. They're like just trying to make ends meet. So I bought like this stack of incense, and because I'm like a labor working guy, dude, guys like me, our cars always smell like a Jiffy Lube, just like oil and grease. Like yeah. So I just kept it in my glove compartment. 2 days later, I'm like, they fucking ripped me off because I couldn't smell it, and it's because I had COVID. Like that's how I found out.
Damn.
And it was weird as hell. I lost my sense of smell with the RSV as well.
Well, when you get plugged up,
Yeah.
So
you were saying that you started off you were going to the My Buddies was your first mic. Do you remember like the first time you got booked for a showcase or?
It was during COVID. It was on Zoom.
Okay.
And then
what about like a in-person showcase? Do you know what it was your
it
first
was
one?
It was a My Buddies show.
Oh, My Buddies? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and we had the mic hanging from the ceiling.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you still go there?
Sometimes, yeah. I don't get booked. I mean, now so much has changed in the last 5 years, but when I have done shows there in the past year though.
Yeah, we had Lexi on the pod.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Yeah, I never hung out with her, and she hasn't made me laugh. She's just like a natural,
she's
funny person.
super funny. She's so nice.
Yeah,
she's a great person.
Yeah, and she that's the thing that made me feel so bad is that she offered me like, if you want to be a judge, like let me know. And like every time I had something opening, I would get sick. It's like annoying as hell.
You're like fuck.
Yeah. I feel like a flake, but
yeah.
because that shit. That's my biggest pet peeve. My mom was the queen of fucking flakes. Oh my, it was.
Was she?
It was bro. You know what it's like when my mom was the like, okay, kid, this is how the most fucked up fucking parent can be. You're gonna learn from what you should not do.
Yeah.
Like. She used to run a interior designer business, right? This is the level of flake she was, and she did some like famous. She did one of Mike Ditka's houses. She did one of Oprah's. The only person she met in person that she did was Lori from Shark Tank.
Oh, funny.
So, but she would like. I remember like she'd be like, "Hey, do you want to make some extra money on Saturday?" Sure. What do you need me to do? I just need you to install these curtains and these valances, and like we got to be there at 7 a.m. I wake up at 7 a.m. Okay. Yeah, we're not leaving yet. We're gonna be there at like around 10 a.m. Okay, Mom. We didn't fucking go there till 4 p.m.
What?
And that's why, like, all her customers, rightfully so, took advantage of her because they're like, bitch, you're fucking 10 hours late. Like,
right.
You better knock off the price.
Yeah.
And that's what happened every single time.
Yeah.
She literally had installers that she would offer, like, I will pay you $80 an hour because they would be waiting in front of the house for 8 hours, like for her to show up.
That's
like,
insane.
So I was like, yeah, dude.
So you try not to flake now.
Yeah, which has failed because my job now is so cool that I'm never on time. I am never. This is the only job that I'm not required to like be on time. So I kind of like take advantage of it because
I would.
So
Absolutely.
and they're only a mile from my house. So
this is game over.
So they're those boomers. You're the closest guy who lives here. What's your excuse? But do you have any? I also wanted to say you have a podcast, White Collar Crime.
I do. It's called White Collars, Red Hands. It's about white collar crime.
White Collar's Red Hand.
Yep, Red Hands. Yep. Yeah, it's about white collar crime. We are on our 18th season.
Cool.
So we've got a lot of episodes, a lot of backlog. Yeah, I do it with an improv artist in the city, Kashan Bachelador. We used to work at a restaurant together.
Cool.
So it was his idea to start the podcast and then asked me to come on because we bantered well. We got along really well at work. So, yeah, we've been doing it since the fall of 2020, so almost 5 years now.
Oh, awesome.
And, yeah, you can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you listen to podcasts.
How's your audience grown?
We've kind of hit a slump. We definitely need some help with marketing. So we're both not very good at that.
I love looking at that analytics shit because it's like, for some reason my biggest viewers are in Ireland, stuff like that. Yeah, it's really weird.
That's funny. Ours is definitely the U.S., but we do get other countries though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We've been in the top 2% of podcasts for a while, but
really?
Yeah, but there's such an oversaturation that like our viewership actually isn't like super crazy high.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't say that part, but
yeah.
But we are in the top 2%.
No, I've been honestly, the only thing that's been helping this is the Instagram clips because
yeah, we need to get better about posting stuff like that, and like it's hard when it's like not an interview style.
Yeah.
Like knowing where to clip. I'm just like it's not my gift. So
yeah,
but it's something we're working on.
I can show you a pretty cool program if you want to see, but because there's a program where the AI chops up what it thinks it's going to be the most viral and it rates it.
What's it called?
Opus Pro.
Oh, yeah. We need to try to do that.
Yeah, it's what I recommend to a lot of people, but it's been slacking on its subtitles. Like,
well, couldn't I edit though?
You can, but that was my like main go-to for free subtitles because they do the subtitles for free. But it's been fucking up like crazy lately. I don't know what's going on. Step it up, Opus Pro. So, I guess the last thing I'd want to ask, it's fucking crazy. I've never had this good time on stage, but. We're 1 minute away from 8. So.
There we go.
But no, I wanted to ask you, like, do you have any comedic goals for the new year?
Yeah, so like last year I hit the goal. Well, so last year, let me rewind back. 2023, I was sick, and I only did 64 shows that year. And
only.
Yeah, I know that sounds silly, but like, okay, so I did 64 shows that year. I had made the goal in 2023 to do 75, and I missed that goal. And a lot of that was because I was sick. And like,
what is that, like 2 to 3 a month? But that's what it averages.
A little more than that, like 5-ish.
No, I'm thinking a week.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, a little less than that. A little less than 2 a week. But yeah, anyways. I had made the goal of doing 75 in 2023. I missed it. Then last year, 2024, I was like, okay, my goal is 75 shows. I ended up doing 106, which I was shocked. I did not think that I would, that 100 seemed out of reach. This year, I set my goal at 100.
Yeah.
I have not been getting booked very much. So that's been a little bit of a stressor. Some goals that I have is like I used to host a lot at Laugh Factory. I haven't really been doing that as much anymore. So my goal is to like start hosting at clubs again, and actually just getting booked at the clubs more.
For the shows, right?
Yeah. For shows, and then just hosting shows. I love hosting. So
I'm talking about Laugh Factory. Like you'd host the shows, not the mic, right? Yeah.
I did host the mic for a while, or for a period of time, and then but at that point people were changing hosts.
Yeah.
And then I was hosting shows as well. But anyways, one of my goals is to start hosting again. And then yeah, I think I have a lot of goals in terms of social media, which sounds funny, but like obviously like that's how you grow your audience and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely like have a goal of like posting more stand-up clips. I really don't post my clips that like at all. There's a couple different reasons for that, but I think I need to just swallow that fear, and
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of it is fear-based. I need to swallow that fear and like start posting my clips more.
Is
So
the
that
fear of the comments?
not necessarily the comments. I mean, there's a little bit of that, but I think most of it is just like running out of material and like being worried that I'm going to put all my material online and then that people aren't going to like
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
come. Like, people are going to be like, "Oh, well, I already watched all this on your Instagram or on your TikTok."
Yeah.
So that's part of it. But growing my social media audience is really a huge goal of mine. If you want to follow me, I'm everywhere at I am Nina Kern. So if you want to give me a follow, that's where I'm at. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Have you? One last question I want to ask: have you ever, like, did you ever have a show that like you performed with somebody that like you look up to, or it was like this is fucking like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I have comics that I really want to work with.
Yeah.
That I haven't yet. I have been proud of myself. I reached out to a couple of them, like, hey, if you need a feature, because I like saw that they were touring in Illinois. Did not hear back from them, but I at least tried. But one notable person that I have worked with, I got to open for Stormy Daniels in November.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was like a really cool opportunity, and
Yeah.
she's really cool, and like the show was awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember you telling us that like that you were you had some family that were afraid of like you're gonna get like all this horrible like threats and stuff that you're like.
Yeah, I had some people who were concerned about my safety. Luckily I was fine and nothing bad happened and it was an awesome show.
Yeah.
But I only had one person be negative about it. They were like, this is like everybody else. I felt kind of bad because like everybody was being horrible to Stormy, obviously. And then Copenhagen Bandit, he's a comic, he featured. And he has more of a conservative fan base.
Yeah.
And so he was getting a lot of flack from his fan base for being on the show. So much so that he had to take down his like promos and stuff.
Yeah.
And I felt kind of bad because like everybody was super supportive. Like on my end, like everybody was like, "Oh my god, that's so awesome that like you're performing with her." I only had one person be negative, and he was like, "This is gonna ruin your career. Like you opening for Stormy Daniels is gonna ruin your career." And I was like, "Well, good thing I don't have a career." So like I like on all platforms might have a combined total of 10,000 followers. Like oh, that's combined on all platforms.
Yeah.
Not like I don't have 10,000 followers on a single platform.
Yeah.
So what fucking career, dude? Like I'm fine. Like
yeah.
And I don't think that opportunity has stopped anyone from booking me.
Yeah.
So and I'm so glad I did it.
Yeah, you can't listen to all that like yeah, especially it was a random person, I'm guessing, right?
Ish, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a follower of mine who is in the film industry. And that's how we got connected is because he was a part of the Chicago film scene.
Okay.
I have actually never met this man in person, but it's someone who's followed me for a while, and then he made that comment, and I was like, well, whatever, dude. Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna not do it.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned the thing before about how like because I was curious about I don't know, I feel like everybody feels differently about like posting clips because I have seen comedians who there's comedian A who has this one bit about whatever, say this bit about Stormy Daniels. They will post every venue they do that bit at.
Oh, weird.
Depending on what react. I'm like, that's kind of a waste. Wouldn't you want to just post the best one, But at the same time,
that's probably not how I would go about it, but I mean, I can see the benefit of it.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. To me, I don't know if this is like, I don't know, but in my mind, I feel like the general population knows like the comedians that are on Netflix. So any clips that you post, I feel like wouldn't even hurt you. I feel like I don't know. That's just how I.
Yeah. Probably not. Honestly, it's just a lot of fear-based. It's just fear-based, and I need to get over my fear.
Yeah.
Because I would like this to be my job. So
Yeah. Well,
I'm tired of working.
Well, I hope one day to be like you with even 64 bookings a year. But
when I was 2 years in, I didn't have that. You know what I mean? So,
But even
it comes with time.
Even from like last year, though, I feel like I'm getting booked. But you know what? I know why. It's because I'm not hitting that grind. I used to go to fucking 7 mics a week, and now I'm going to like 3. But at the same time, it feels comfortable going to 3. I don't know.
I am someone I have never been like a huge mic goer.
Yeah.
I need to go to some because I have bits that I want to work on, and it's hard because and this sounds like I'm making excuses, but like I have a podcast.
Yeah.
I also like I have a side hustle where like I host trivia and do apartment shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
you got to have the
there has to be a balance.
Yeah.
But I do. The next week is like a little bit lighter with my stuff, and so next week I am gonna hit some mics because I do want to get these bits to a point where they're good and they're solid and I can perform them. But yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but I've never been someone who's hit like 10 mics a week is what I was kind of getting at.
Yeah, no, I feel like that first 2 years is just like, dude, learn how to eat shit on stage. And if it doesn't phase you anymore, then you could sort of like I'm at that place where I'm like I just joined CrossFit 6 months ago, and I asked the guys around. I'm like, what do you like? I see the most jacked guy there. I'm like, how many fucking times a week do you go? He's like 4. I'm like, really? 4 out of 7? He's like, yeah, dude, you need recovery time. I'm like, you need recovery time in comedy.
You do. You do.
Like, because I knew one comedian. I won't mention. He's awesome and he's doing well. But I knew one comedian who was like doing. I think he said he did like 420 mics in a year, and it was like autistic. It was, you know what I mean? It was just like you.
Well, there is a lot of pressure too, because like people are like, I'm missing out, and you feel a lot of pressure, and you feel, and like for a lot of people, their social circle is comedy.
Yeah. That's definitely for me.
Yeah, like
I was just venting to my friend today. I feel lonely because I haven't gone to a mic in so long.
Yeah, and like there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people who have, especially in Chicago, or I would say argue any big city, who have moved here for comedy.
Yeah.
And they're spending all their free time doing comedy. So this is where their friends are at.
Yeah.
So I understand how you can go to like 5, you're spending 5 nights a week going to 3 different mics because your friends are there. Yeah. That's your social circle. That's your social time. And like that I get. But like, I moved here for acting, and like I have social circles outside of comedy. So, sometimes I want to be a human and spend time with my friends.
Yeah.
So
I find it's hard to find comedians who do want to chill outside of comedy. That's what I find. I don't know.
Yeah, I have made some friends in comedy that I definitely hang out with outside of comedy, but yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, one day I hope to be like Nina Kern getting those bookings. Thank you for coming on the pod.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
It's great getting to know you and talking about some wild shit, and yeah.
Fist bump.
Fist bump.